to part 2 of the previous video, which is regarding the stimulus of external source, which then results in the internal stunting of your natural body's and mental process. This is part 2 of this particular video. In understanding where we left off, which pardon on the technical difficulties, but digital ID is very much a real thing, which if you create a moment where you are creating too much, you could say, resonance, you then experience a digital shutdown, where they specifically can control your digital self, known as your technology. Your SIN number is attached to. Let's step away from that for a second. In the previous video where we left off, we were just at the portion where we were discussing where CBD now becomes what regulates from sativa to indica, which if you follow the previous video, you then see that in the synthetic manipulation at which we control the body's natural process, we create external stimulus, resulting in internal shutdown of not just the physiology, not just the psychology, but the physiological psychology and the psychological physiology of the body's natural process, which is all correlated to the same process known as the human experience. Now, when we realize how some of these hormones, neurotransmitters, and other factors all are correlated to the same essential thing, which is external stimulus, which then results in the same serotonin buildup of testosterone levels or estrogen degeneration, on and on and on and on. Which means if we are treating not just one individual, but opposing sexes all of a sudden, we are creating different experiences within separate people that in themselves might alter their internal natural process and mental process, which in the manipulation of not just the hormones themselves, the neurotransmitters, on and on and on and on, we then arise at where we see a disassociation of the individual, resulting in a life-threatening condition. Where do we change that? Well, if we change the body's natural process through a synthetic process, we need to rehabilitate the body's natural process through a natural nature process, which is found in the initial true medicine we had discovered in the world, which is the burning bush, marijuana. Which in the sativa aspect of things, you find the upper or stimulus, the stimulant aspect of things. And in the indica, you found the downer or the negative aspect of things in the balance of things, of it all, resulting in a neutralizing of the body's natural process that was disturbed by a synthetic altercation of an external stimulus, which is exactly what they tell you not to do if you have begun developing a serotonin buildup within your system, which the serotonin buildup can be stimulated through potency of substances or through the use of steroids such as testosterone, or any process that creates a stunting upon an external synthetic stimulus. we might wonder, why is it that some people come back from mushroom experiences but not LSD experiences, which is in the process itself? In the understanding of the mushroom, it is made of a living flesh, a natural process, which is a conscious living plant flesh, resulting in it giving an experience of consciousness based on being a more conscious form of plant life. In the experience now, if you alter it into a synthetic, which is the same experience at a more greater potential rate for a prolongation, you then see that in the use of LSD, which is a synthetically chemically created process of the same experience, simply prolonged at its peak and in the overall experience, you would then see the stunting of a body's natural process, because it is synthetic. It is not a hormonal or harmonic resonance within a natural process known as the universe, which you are a part of very much. You are not separate from the universe. You are very much the universe experiencing itself at this very particular point. So if you change the understanding or the process at which the universe processes itself, well, then you see a change in the overall wellness of it all, which doesn't just mean physical health, it means mental health of it all. And in the mental health of it all, the arising of negative experience known as the actual form of the illness caused by the serotonin buildup, whether you have created a synthetic altercation of any form, you then generate a synthetic buildup of serotonin syndrome. Anytime you process a synthetic chemical from an external source, which results in a particular physiological process being stunted, you then create a mental stunting process as well, resulting in this buildup, which we then see serotonin syndrome can also build up in bodybuilders as a result of steroid use. And then you can see their mental states are actually heavily influenced by these steroids they may take. Stepping away from the aspect of the body and its health now, let's talk about mental health in this particular aspect. In the process of the serotonin syndrome, which this is part 2, and as the previous video explains how the process of the mind works, how do we re-regulate once we change a synthetic process? Well, then you must rehabilitate by reintroducing a natural process, which you can see is the fundamental truth behind the burning bush, which has polar opposing factors in its experience, but can be balanced out or opposed in a slower transition from one to another, rather than a drastic, rapid swing that would ultimately result in an opposing reaction just as fast. CBD essentially is what controls the rate at which you let the experience re-neutralize itself. It is the initial antipsychotic, which results in then the neutralizing, or if you wish to then induce in the opposing force, you can then control the swing up and back down. This gives a slower rise and neutralizing experience, which if you are coming down from a powerful drug experience, You would then need to supplement if it was from a synthetic LSD high. If you were to then supplement throughout the day slight doses of CBD, you would then see a gradual pull away, as a person's mental process also experiences a gradual pull away in its self-reflection. And in the CBD aspect of things, if the high of LSD is a high of serotonin, such as a sativa high, at a higher potential rate, known as the greater power of the experience, it's not that the experience is separate, it is the potential at which you are processing the experience based on the serotonin buildup. It is the same experience. The simple difference is the potential at which it is being experienced, which means it is all a stepping stone mechanism in the experience awakening in the psychoactive world. In understanding this, you would see then that in the use of CBD, just as the neutralizing aspect of slowing down the way the pendulum swings to ultimately cause it to come to a standstill at the center, which is known as reaching equilibrium, ending the psychosis through a natural process known as a true medicine, which is the initial medication we were meant to use, the burning bush. Thank you.